What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Big Time Football Talk. So I want to get straight into talking about the Super Bowl. And so first of all, Tampa Bay defeated the Chiefs 31-9. It was, if you're a Bucs fan, you got to just be ecstatic because what a performance. That was about as good of a game you can play for Tampa Bay defensively. The big storyline was Eric Fisher being out of this game, and I knew that would have a big impact. And you knew if you're Pierre Paul or, Shaquille Barrett, Vita Vea, Sue, the guys on the D-line, you knew you had to be licking your chops a little bit to know that Fisher being out is, going to create opportunities for them to get quite the pass rush, and they did. Credit to Mahomes for, trying to make some plays. There's a couple balls that went off through the guy's hands and through their helmet. But, Tampa's defense just really looked motivated, and I heard, Tom Brady gave him a pretty good speech, and it sure looked like it paid off. They were just flying around, and Devin White's a guy I've just loved, and the combine. I think people kind of even slept on him going into this year, but his talent is just is really showing. I still don't think he realized how good he can be. I think maybe that's starting to come into his mind right now, but 14 tackles. What was it? They had 14 tackles, a pick. I don't know. Did he have a forced fumble? I think did he have a fumble recovery or a forced fumble too? But, not to sell him short stat-wise. But, yeah, Devin White, Levante David all over the field. And it's good to get Levante David some recognition too, because he's a guy that's been in the league for a long time and had a lot of success in Nebraska and was a first-round pick and has dealt through, a lot of ups and downs being a Buccaneer for a long time. And, there's not a lot of people as happy as that, Tom Brady came and they've done so well in the draft, and Bruce Arians did a good job coaching, bringing this whole thing together. But you really look at the last few drafts, it's so crucial to success on the defensive side of the ball. This year's draft, Tristan Wirfs, the tackle, played some pretty good football for him. Antoine Winfield, the safety. What can you say about him? He was outstanding. A guy that just made a huge impact in Minnesota, and I think he started 2 years there. His last year in Minnesota had, 4 or 5 interceptions and first team all Big Ten safety, and just was part of the reason why Minnesota became very, very tough defensively. And father played in the NFL, and he shows a lot of great instincts. He's not a guy that's super fast, but he's very fundamentally sound tackling. Made a big pass breakup and then trolled Tyreek Hill with the peace sign at the end of the game. But Winfield is still a young guy too. I think he's only 22 years old. And Tyler Johnson, the rookie wide receiver from Minnesota, in the Green Bay game, he made a couple of just spectacular catches. You talk about AB, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Those are the guys you talk about the most, but Tyler Johnson, clutch catches in that Green Bay game. And, he's a guy that I think has a bright future and can get better for Tampa Bay. But the 2019 draft is a draft I circle a lot for Tampa Bay. Devin White, 5th overall, Sean Murphy Bunting, round 2. Those two guys guys that just kept getting better and better. Both ran in the 4.4. Devin White, so impressive. It's 6 foot, almost 250 pounds, running a 4.4 40. And then Murphy Bunting running in the 4.4s too as a cornerback. And Murphy Bunting did a great job, covering Tyreek Hill in this game. And Devin White did such a great job of, playing fast and swarming to the football. And Jamal Dean was the 3rd round pick in this draft too. He's played very well, and their secondary they got some tough, hard hitting players. Even the 2018 draft, you got Carlton Davis, who's played a lot at corner. Vita Vea, who's been very solid at defensive tackle too, and they got him back from injury for. I think he came back to the Green Bay game, and then definitely played in the Super Bowl and was just part of the reason why their defensive line was so ferocious in that in the Super Bowl. But Vita Vea, he's a big presence at D tackle. So, and obviously Tom Brady is so valuable to this team, and I think he really elevated this team so much this year. And this was a team that a lot of people thought. I think the consensus was they thought this could be a 9-10 win team that would get to the playoffs, but not necessarily likely win it. win the Super Bowl, but had a chance with a lot of pieces. I started to get the growing concern when I saw they brought in Gronk, Antonio Brown, that this could just be a team where just the hype just becomes too much and they really underachieve. It kind of scared me. And, then the talk would shift towards, more of, was it Belichick, the reason for all of Tom Brady's success in New England, as opposed to now everyone's talking about Tom Brady was the system and Tom Brady, was the reason why they were so successful in New England. But, the work ethic is off the charts. He's a guy that, doubted the University of Michigan, doubted really in high school, and doubted in the NFL after, a poor combine performance and then slipping to the sixth round in the draft. But, the rest has been history since he came over and took over for, Drew Bledsoe when he got hurt. And he has just, shown that he was, he made a statement to Robert Kraft that I'm going to be the best thing to happen to this franchise or something along those lines. And that's not a, exact quote, but, he turned out to, be pretty special in his days in New England, and just showed an ability to just play just great football for Tampa Bay, and just always just doing enough to win the football game, and still looks pretty sharp even in his 40s. So, but I think he just has really just thrived off of doubt throughout his career. So, credit to Tom Brady. That is ring number 7. So his someday or in the next few years could maybe get a ring for all 10 fingers. But we'll have to see how much longer he plays. I think it'll be about another 2 years that Tom Brady would play if I had to guess. So, but just gonna enjoy watching him play while I can. You can't take him for granted. I look at, Tom Brady, I think, is just doing something special offensively, and then I look at Aaron Donald and what he's doing on the defensive side of the ball, just two players on, both sides of the ball that are just, doing something I just don't want to take for granted. I just want to cherish. And, Tom Brady, his throws have just become – the throws he's supposed to make have just become so routine that sometimes you almost – try to slip and, take it for granted that, hey, he just, the guy just completes everything, and just, Tom Brady always just that guy that just does exactly what he needs to do, to win and, and shine in the big moments. And, that's why it's led to, all the success, 7 rings, Super Bowl with 2 different teams, Super Bowls 19 years apart, all the crazy stats you want to go to, him having more of a chance of winning a Super Bowl than Steph Curry is to hit a three-pointer, whatever crazy stat you want to throw out. So credit to him in Tampa Bay. And, that's the last I want to touch on the Super Bowl. So next I want to shift to some of the top NFL rookies this year. CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb at Oklahoma really was a finished product. I thought he would be a guy that would come and make an impact right away in the NFL, and he did exactly that. 900 yards, 5 touchdowns. If you look at Dallas, they have such a strong wide receiver core. You hope that Dak Prescott comes back healthy next year, and they can continue to build off of a strong wide receiving core and a team that's got some talent, got some pieces around it. Just kind of needs another solid draft, and kind of needs to maybe get some younger pieces on the offensive line and continue to improve the defense. But I still like Jalen Smith, Van Der Esch, some of the guys on their defense. So, got to watch out for Dallas in the future. And, the wide receiving core is super fun to watch. And I that's why I still like to watch the Cowboys, even though it was a little bit of a disappointing year, because you had, 3 serious weapons at Gallup, Amari Cooper, and CeeDee Lamb. So, but glad to see Lamb made an impact, because he's one of my favorite players heading into the 2020 draft. So, yeah, Jeremy Chin, the safety. And, I didn't know a lot about Jeremy Chin, which was interesting coming out of Southern Illinois. But you go back and watch his tape at Southern Illinois. The guy just made so many big plays. He had the size, the speed, just super athletic guy, and was one of Mel Kiper's gems in the 3rd round, and it sure paid off for, a great season he had. He's, very instinctive, has shown the ability to force fumbles. And, I think this is a guy that'll be a a key piece to the Carolina's defense, a young defense that hopes to improve and just keep getting better. Along with some other guys, Derek Brown was another guy they took in the draft in the first round, and then they took Brian Burns first round the year prior. So they got some young pieces in Carolina. Carolina is a team that's usually drafted pretty well on the defensive side of the ball. So excited to see what Jeremy Chin does moving forward. Obviously, it was a guy that was in the mix with Chase Young, as far as defensive rookie of the year. So yeah. Justin Jefferson, the next guy. Jefferson, immediate impact for the Minnesota Vikings this year. Jefferson was a guy, but he kept coming up. He never was. I don't think he was the number one receiver on a lot of big boards, but he was always in the discuss as one of the top 3 to 4 in a wide receiver class that was so super talented. And all Justin Jefferson did was go out and get 1,000 yards receiving. And, had a couple monster games, one coming against the Titans, had a 200-yard game. Maybe it might have been 1 or 2 200-yard games. And, he's going to be a wide receiver that is going to be big for Minnesota. And that trade is really, really shown to be pretty solid for both teams because, you got Diggs, a guy that was already established himself as, a top 10 wide receiver that Josh Allen can rely on, and then the Vikings get them a young star wide receiver that has a lot of even more room to grow and keep getting better. And as a guy that is just so hard to guard, you can ask Logan Ryan, the Titans corner, how hard it is to cover Justin Jefferson. I mean, that game when he tore up the Titans, Logan Ryan was in great position, and Jefferson just made the catch. I mean, he's just an incredible route runner, a guy that was really doubted in high school, so he kind of has just worked on his skill set and his craft so well, and that combined with his ability to bulk up and get faster and stronger has just kind of combined to just create an incredible wide receiver that the NFL will be talking about for a long time. So last guy, James Robinson from Jacksonville. James Robinson, kind of a crazy story, undrafted from Illinois State. I think a lot of Jaguars fans and even the organization didn't really expect that Robinson would make the team, but showed such good flashes early on. It led to them cutting Leonard Fournette because Robinson in their offense, what Jay Gruden wanted to do, he wanted to have a back that could catch some passes too. So James Robinson kind of became their guy, their feature guy, and had a great rookie year and was very impactful in almost every game. Even though they had a tough season, winning on one game, he was involved in the run game, passing game, and he's very quick, tough to tackle, and a guy that'll be instrumental moving forward as Urban Meyer comes in, and Trevor Lawrence will be one of the key pieces on that offense for the future. So, yeah. And the last guy, Justin Herbert, the offensive rookie of the year. Justin Herbert, all he did was prove the doubters wrong in Los Angeles. And, when the Chargers took him, I had, a better feeling about this. It's so funny about Justin Herbert because at first I was super high on him. I had him as my number one player on the big board. But, I kept watching, draft breakdowns, and there was some errors on film, but I always talk about this. I think it became so easy for Herbert in college that he just kind of got complacent, and he really just cleaned up those mistakes. And the guy that if you watch Hard Knocks, and I don't know the full story, but it looked like he struggled a little bit as a rookie in training camp, but a guy that just kept getting better and better. And I think even though Anthony Lynn didn't play him, I think Anthony Lynn and the coaching staff saw something in him. And as a guy, bottom line is the tools were all there for Herbert, the size, the arm strength, the speed. I mean, he has everything you want in a modern-day quarterback, especially with the NFL changing to more of a, spread-type quarterbacks that not only can fling the ball 1,000 miles, can also run too, and that's what Justin Herbert does. So, credit to Herbert in a strong rookie season, even though they didn't win as many games they wanted to and had some blown leads. But, the Chargers have got them a quarterback moving forward, and, the Chargers have really drafted well. Credit to their organization. I mean, even when they weren't as good, they still, back in the day, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, seems like they've always had talent. And, next year, hopefully Derwin James is healthy for the whole year, and so Los Angeles can get a shot to get back to the playoffs. And, it'll be fun seeing Herbert in a playoff game. And he was a guy that was, exciting for fans to watch. It's always good. The league is having kind of a new wave of younger quarterbacks as, Big Ben is getting up there and Rodgers and Brady getting, a new wave of young quarterback talent, and, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. So, yeah. So, thanks for tuning in, guys, to this episode of Big Time Football Talk. I'm going to wrap it there. Thank you guys so much for the continued support of the show and the channel. So, till next time, guys. Peace.